Welcome to the Hockey Hour, a very special edition. I will be your host, Dylan Evergaw. Colin is losing it. Joining me today, he used to be a Benning lover. Today we're going to find out if he's now a Benning hater. It is my man, the only guy who likes to argue with people on Twitter, Colin Pica. Also joining us today is Austin. Austin is often the only reason me and Colin don't end up fist fighting on air. And he's also the guy who does a lot of the work behind the scenes that you lucky people don't see.
It is true.
Thank you.
It is true.
Today, it's a very special edition. Colin's going to be doing a deep dive into Jim Bennings' time as GM of the Vancouver Canucks. He's going to give us his opinions, and me and Austin are going to challenge him on them. If we agree with him, we won't be doing much challenging, a little more agreeing. But if we think he's a fucking idiot, we'll tell him he's a fucking idiot. And spoiler alert, we think he's a fucking idiot. Colin, take it away.
You know what? I'm impressed. Very, very impressed. No, I like
Host
that.
of the hour.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not used to coming on here and not talking my ass off, so that felt weird, but you know, that was good. No, I'm here. Yeah, I think this is. I think it's. I don't want to like. I'm not. We're in a world where like a lot of people losing their jobs, so I don't want to be crapping on the guy. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest about it. So this is I'm separating the person and the job. That's all. I don't want people to get all offended. I'm attacking Benny. I'm really not. I'm just gonna be honest. But I think it's fair to say he's probably gonna get fired within the week. If he doesn't, I'd be pretty surprised at this point. It's unfortunate, but that's the business of hockey. You sometimes just lose your job, and it's nothing against you. So I just want people to know that. Don't attack me, all right? Relax. Anyways, yeah. I'm gonna highlight it's fun I'm doing this because I've always been like one of the biggest Benning supporters there probably is. And that's why I'm doing this. So yeah, I am.
And I'll admit I've been right there too with you. So
yeah,
it's our turn to look
Yeah,
at the
it
track
is.
record and see how we've done.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna dive deep here. I'm gonna start with. I have a spreadsheet on Microsoft Word here that I made up. So I'm gonna do like his trades, his drafting, and his free agent signings. And if at any point you want to step in and say like how fucking dumb I am, go for it. But I'm gonna start with. He got hired in 2014, obviously, right?
Mhm.
I just gotta edit my. There we go. So I'm gonna start with the good trades. I'm gonna start with the positivity here. So the good trades, I'm gonna say this is not in order. It's just what he's done. So JT Miller, for example, actually that's probably the best trade he's made as GM, which it was a great trade, but nonetheless of how bad he's doing this year. Kevin Bieksa for second round pick, that was good. Garrison for second round pick, that was good. Vanek for Mott, that was a really good one. Really, really good trade right there. Totally underrated. Good Branson for Pearson. That was a good trade. I'll take that any day of the week. Josh Levo or Michael Sarcone for Josh Levo. Last time I checked, people don't even know who the hell Michael Sarcone is. So there's that. Josh Levo's a pretty good third line player. And then Nate Schmidt. That was a good trade. It was a third round pick. He hasn't been great this year, but I don't care. That was a really good trade. The average. I'm putting the Kessler trade in the average because there's optics to that trade. Yes, we didn't get a great return, but he was handcuffed at the time between two teams. That's not really his fault. I mean, how do you he had no leverage in that negotiation at all. It was Kessler forcing his way out, so I'm not going to judge him too badly on that. In saying that, we did okay. We got a first, a third, Bedino and Spisa, which, I mean, if he had all the leverage in the world and didn't have a no trade clause, that was a horrible trade. But that's not the optics. So, a second round pick for Sven Berchi. That was a fine trade. A lot of second rounders don't develop even, and Berchi before his concussion wasn't a bad player. His concussion kind of changed him. Eddie Lack for a third. That ended up being Galoom Brisebois, who is a depth NHLer, AHLer, and Lack isn't even playing anymore. So that's all right. And then Benino for Sutter. We gave up a second round pick and Benino for Sutter and a third. Sutter, when he got here, he got injured. It's bad luck. Benito and Sutter, they're both pretty similar players when healthy. You know, Benito went off to a good Pittsburgh team, and Sutter came here to a bad Canucks team. That wasn't a bad trade. The bad, good Branson trade was awful. A second round pick and McCann for good Branson. That was awful judgment. Like, horrible trade. I think it was the worst trade he's made in his career. And then the Foley trade. The fact that we couldn't re-sign to Foley is what made that trade bad. It was a bad trade. If we could re-sign him, it wouldn't have been bad, but we couldn't. So that was a total fuck up. So, basically, do you guys want to add anything to that, or are you guys content with that?
No, I think it's good.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going, brother.
Well, that's all the trades he's made, actually. Yeah, he hasn't, like, those are the big ones. I'm not going to go into the small ones. Like, no one cares about that. Those are the big ones, the notable ones. His drafting, 2014, awful. He picked Jake Virtanen 6th overall. The players that went ahead of him, or sorry, behind him, so like 7th, 8th, 9th is what I mean. Hayden Fleury, William Nylander, Nikolai Ehlers, Kevin Fiala, Jacob Vrana, Dylan Larkin, Travis Sanheim, David Pastrnak, and Adrian Kempe. All those guys, in my opinion, well, besides Adrian Kempe and Hayden Fleury, they're all pretty much better than Virtanen. That was horrible. That was his first pick, too. Total mess up. He picked McCann the same year, 24th overall. McCann's, you know, not a bad player, but he's not with us anymore. That was a solid pick, but again, there were some rumors that he had some locker room issues, and I don't want to spread anything, but that's what I heard. So, you know,
Yeah.
character type thing. I don't know. That's the rumor.
I would say too, though, to the Virtanen one, obviously there's a lot behind that. There was a lot of pressure from us as hometown guys thinking
Sure.
he was going to be exactly what we wanted him to be,
Yep.
and the player we needed, and he was from here, so it made sense. And I think any GM, if it was Gillis in that situation, probably would have done the exact same thing, and whoever else would have taken that job probably would have done exactly that, because it was laid
I
out like a
agree.
perfect plan for what we needed, and
Yeah.
being a hometown kid. So that was just, that's a
It
hit and
doesn't
a
look
miss.
good though.
That's
The
just
guy,
no.
yeah, it doesn't look good though. The guys who went ahead of him, especially, that was
Yeah.
bad. That was bad. Thatcher Demko, got him in the second round that year. That was good. And then Nikita Tremkin, 3rd round pick. I think he can be an NHL player one day. He's in the KHL, but that's 3rd round pick. I mean, that's fine. But 2014 draft year was not very good. 2015, 2015, the draft, first round was really good, and then after that it was terrible. Like for every team. Picked Brock Besser. That was fine. Can't go wrong with that. Picked Balloon Breezeball that year, 3rd round pick. He's an AHLer who can come up and play. That's a win in my books. It doesn't happen that often. You get that. Adam Gaudette that year, 5th round pick. That was a steal. And then the one thing he didn't get was Mangiapane. He missed on that. He could have taken Mangiapane and he didn't. So that was a miss. That was a notable one. But that was a good year for drafting. 2016, he picked Olli Juolevi, which remains to be seen. I'm still not judging that, but hey, it's not looking bad. The guys who he could have picked instead of Juolevi were Kachuk, Clayton Keller, and Mikhail Sergachev, Tyson Yost, and Charlie McAvoy. So as of now, it doesn't look good. No, but Juolevi, you know, I just can't judge yet completely. William Law could win the 3rd round. He could one day be a depth for the NHL. He's not a bust by any means. So I don't know. 2017 was a good one. I think 2017 was his best draft year. It was a Pedersen draft. He got Cole in. Gadjevic in the 2nd round, who's a bust probably at this point. I pegged Gadjevic, Jonas Gadjevic, as the next Milan Lucic. I'm an idiot. That was not good. I actually said that word for word. He'll be the next Milan Lucic. That was bad. You got Michael DiPietro in the 3rd round, which was a steal, and Jack Rathbone in the 4th, 98th overall. That was another steal.
Well, okay, steal. The guy hasn't played an NHL game yet.
Okay, but he's pretty highly touted.
Come
He is.
on.
He
So
is.
was Rafferty at one point. He doesn't look very good.
Rafferty was never touted like, no, he wasn't.
Last year, everyone was losing their. Anyways, I'm not going to go into it, but I think it's maybe a bit bold to say it's a steal.
If it's a 4th-round pick who has like any potential to be in the NHL, it's considered a steal.
I don't know. I
98th
feel
overall.
people still think Cole Lynn's gonna make the NHL, and
Good.
maybe, yeah, maybe these guys could, maybe.
Oh, Colin's also a 2nd-round pick. I'm talking about a 4th-round pick.
I would say both these guys have like less than a 25% chance to play more than 20 games in the NHL.
I disagree with that.
Anyways, let's keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. My little take would be if they're not getting a shot in a situation like this now, I don't know why they get it in any future situation.
True.
That's just all. It's like we're in such the vulnerable space to have these
Yeah.
guys get it if it's there, and Green's the kind of guy who'd give it to them if they deserve it. So,
All right. 2018. Quinn Hughes draft. That was wild. Quinn Hughes draft. Jet Wu, 2nd-round pick. At the time, we liked it, but he's really fallen down the depth chart. So, I mean, again, I'm dumb. I said Jet Wu could be the next Shea Weber. So it's not a good take. That was really bad. I get pretty hyped up. I say certain things. Tyler Madden. I think he was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, I think he'll have a future with LA. He could. I don't know. I haven't looked enough into him, but still.
He's freaking good at the World Juniors, and I watched a
Yeah,
couple
but
of his
World
college
Juniors doesn't
games.
mean anything though.
True, but he's a freaking
That's
he's
fair.
pretty good.
So at the time, it was a good pick. So I'm gonna give Benning credit for that. Tony Uutinen, he is a Finnish kid who could one day be a 3rd-pairing defenseman for us. So it was like a 5th-round pick. So I'll take that. The one thing is though, Romanov from Montreal was taken 1 pick ahead of Wu. That sucks. Because Romanov's really good. That sucks.
here's the thing
Okay.
too. I also would
go
like
ahead.
to outline is you're also pointing out the guys that are be taking ahead of these certain players.
I know.
And that also has got to play into the factor, right? Like if all of those guys were
Yeah.
so much better, there's probably 2 or 3 that they had on their depth chart higher than that guy they ended up taking. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's something to take into consideration too.
For sure. Where was I? 2019 was the Paul Colson one. That's throughout Benning's whole tenure. I'm gonna say Hoglander becomes the biggest steal he drafts because he was a 2nd-round pick. It's just I'm shocked. Like going through this list, I thought he had more steals than he did. Like I honestly, like everyone goes on about his drafting, which was good, but was it really that good? Because the only steals I'm seeing are Tyler Madden, Hoglander, and frickin' Gaudette. I thought it was more than that. So it's kind of like shit. Like, it's not. If you compare it to Gillis, it was great, but I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the 2019 draft, we did what we could in the 1st round. We didn't take Alex Newhook, who looks really good right now. Matthew Boldy, Ville Hanola, and Peyton Krebs. But I mean, Paul Colson, I think he fits well with the team we have.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, we got Germo, their 3rd, who I haven't looked too much, but nonetheless. Yeah, the only players that were steals were Hoglander, Gaudette, DiPietro, Madden, Uutinen, and Rathbone. It's not that good. In what was it, 7 years now? I don't know. It's not that good. But he hit home runs on our 1st-round pick, so that's what matters. Okay. Signings and contract extensions. The good. I'm putting Roussel in that category. Before his knee injury, he looked very good. And he got injured. Now he doesn't look the same. I don't know. Bo Horvat was a very good signing. Contract extension. Besser, Mott.
Do you think it's a very good, or do you think it's like probably the Harvack contract, the right price? I would say it's the right price, $5.5 million.
Yeah.
Sure. It's still good though.
It's a meh. I would say it's a meh.
Okay, fine. Man, that's fair. Okay. Then I put Jordy Ben in there too. He's looked good this year.
Yeah.
He's very good this year. Good depth signing. The meh, Edler goes in there because of this year so far, because he's still making $5 million. I think it was
6.
Yeah, so that's meh. Travis Hamonic was mad because he's not making much, but it's still money, and he's useless right now. So
Yeah.
And then Braden Holtby, he's not getting much help, but he's also not showing like any promise at all with us, and he's not looking like he's worth that contract right now at all. He's hasn't made like one big save for our team since he's been on the roster. The bad, in the good, you gotta put Erickson in there. I tried to say that with a straight face. I couldn't. I tried to. Erickson was good. Nothing wrong. It's not Benning's fault that he forgot to play hockey. Just kidding. No, Erickson was terrible. Oh God. Beagle, I'm putting him in the bad because come on, it's too much for what he does. It's too much. I don't. It's three. What does he make? 3 million.
3.
It's too much.
So
What are you gonna make
wait,
that look for?
wait.
What are
You're
you
gonna
gonna
put
make that look for?
Roussel in the good and put Beagle in the bad?
Roussel before his injury was a very effective player.
Yeah, I don't care about before his injury. Before
I care.
yesterday,
I
was
care.
like,
I
what?
care.
And
I care.
yeah,
about
I
that.
just don't think Beagle's a bad contract. I'd put him in
Why?
Met at least.
Dude, he doesn't
I just think he's a more effective player than most of the guys in our bottom 6.
for 3 million. And
Sorry.
doing that
Yeah, for 3 million. That's not a lot.
Compared to
You're paying
Roussel,
like,
it's a way better contract to Roussel.
like
Currently, yes.
I don't see it.
Mm,
I don't know why like 3 million is not a lot in today's NHL.
well, it's a lot. If we didn't have 3 million on our books, it would help us a lot. Just saying.
Yeah, but
if
if
we
you're
didn't,
gonna
then we
say
wouldn't have
Roussel,
you wouldn't have a guy playing penalty kill, you wouldn't have a guy taking faceoffs, and you wouldn't have a guy in your bottom
this
6
way.
you have to fill. And a center.
When Roussel was
You guys fill
signed,
that for 3
when
million?
Roussel was signed, he was worth that contract. When Beagle was signed, I don't think he was worth it. I don't know.
I know. I defend Roussel, but I can't sit here and see you put Roussel in good and Beagle in bad. That's not.
also I
I
don't
put them
think
both in meh if you want, but
just to speak to what you just said, Colin. You
Mhm.
said at the time they were signed, but you don't judge a GM's signings off of the quality of player the quality of year the player has before they sign them. You judge them on the quality. Like if Jim Benning went out and signed a guy who had a shit year, but saw something that no one else saw, brought him in, had our coach him in such a way that the player had way better results due to this coaching, and now the player flourishes, you're not going to say, it's a shit signing because he had a bad year before you signed him. You say, no, that's great GM work. You don't judge a signing based off the year before. You judge the signing based off the play that the player has under your team.
What do
You
mean?
literally said the year before it was a better signing. You said it was a better signing because the years they had before the contracts are signed. That was what you rebutted to call. Yeah, that was what you rebutted to us.
I did not mean to make it sound like that's what I meant, because that's not in my brain right now. I'm processing. That's not at all what I meant.
Okay.
So I must have misspoke there, big time. I meant like at the time the contract was signed, and then the year after Roussel had a great year. That's what I meant.
Okay.
That's all I meant. But no, I never thought Beagle was worth 3 million. I just haven't.
I don't know, but yeah. I don't know. To that statement too, I was going to say I even have a defense for not Louis Erickson's signing, but for at the time of the signing, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that, so
Okay.
we'll go there.
I'm saying Sutter's bad because, I mean, one injury. Well, injuries aren't Benny's fault, but I just never thought he was worth for what he did for. Go ahead.
How much is Sutter making? What was that contract? I don't have it in front of me.
4.4, I'm pretty sure.
No, isn't it 4.25?
Okay, 4.3. 4.3.
For like what, 4 years?
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're not going to say injuries, you're not going to judge injuries. You can't judge. You can't judge Sutter after an injury and because of his injury, and not Roussel.
I know, but.
And once again, just the same thing as Beagle. I'd say he's one of the most effective players in our bottom 6
for
day in, day
4.2
out.
million?
No, not for his price. Not saying he's worth it, but I'm playing the devil's advocate here. If you're going to give Roussel, who just sits there and takes penalties and chops guys down, because before Sutter's injury, if he didn't have that, he'd probably be a really great signing.
Okay, fine. I'll put Roussel in bad then.
Yeah, that's the solution.
Okay.
That's all I need. That's all I need. Now I can breathe.
That's fair. I know I was kind of double standards myself, whatever you call it. But Sutter, I don't think that's a good contract. It's too much for what he does. Sven Berchi, I mean, I don't know, meh, I guess. I'll put that in the meh. I had him bad. I'll put that in meh because of concussions and stuff. He was averaging 30 points a season. 2.5 million is not the end of the world. Myers, obviously, I don't need to explain that. It's still $1 million. It's still $2 million more than we should have given him. He should not have made anything more than 4.5. It's free agency, but still, I mean, I disagree with Walker
Yeah.
on that one. When you said that, I should have said something at the time, and I didn't. But I disagree. It is bad money. It is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the same. I would make probably a stronger argument for his signing at the time than most
Yeah.
other things. Like,
Yeah.
it's a matter of circumstance,
Mhm.
and that money has to go. But I don't know. That doesn't mean that I can justify him though just going after and making that choice. Like, you have to make an educated guess. So obviously his
Yeah.
decision to do this, because I can see
Yeah.
Dylan's face right now, and I know what he's
Okay,
thinking. But
I
because I'm kind of like thinking this over now as I'm saying it as well. So
I
As the
just
host of
have
the show, he
troubles.
wants to speak up.
I have troubles with this one because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and you guys always defend the Myers in the terms of you have to pay a lot in free agency, and you've defended it to me many times. Maybe not as much anymore, but you have defended it in the past that way, whereas you have to overpay in free agency. But which is a fine argument, but I have a hard time when then you start saying that, Myers 6x5 is okay then, but Tanev 4x4.5 isn't. That doesn't add up. I mean, it's a less of a contract for a better player. So one's either true and like they're either both true or they're both false or the opposite way than you currently have it. But it's contradictory looking at it that way. To me, Tanev's the better player than Myers and has a better contract. So if Myers' contract is fine to sign, then Tanev.
Who's arguing differently right now?
Well, you've told me you still wouldn't sign that Tanev contract, but
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't sign Myers either.
but okay, so you've changed because at one point you defended the Myers contract.
Well, no, what I always said was it's free agency and you just can't get the contract you want. You're always going to overpay by $1 million or $2 million, and even Walker agreed with that. That's what I've always said. If we could, if at the time, if we could have gone Myers for 4.5, I've been fine with that. And I still, it's hard to judge. It's last year he wasn't nearly as bad as you made him out to be. He just wasn't. This year, the whole team's been bad. I'm still sticking with this. He's not as bad as you make him out to be. I'm still sticking with it. I don't care what you think. I'm still sticking with it.
yeah, I don't know. Like, to that extent too, I guess I will defend him because I have defended that stance for sure. I've defended the contract, and I agree. You are going to have to give and take. There is that, especially when you're trying to fill a certain role, and the agent knows that. They're going to not just be like, yeah, you're right. 4.5, that's a great price for us. It's like, no, it's never going to happen. But same thing, when I look at this free agency that year, I feel like that was just a player's market, and sometimes that just happens because I'm telling you, who's going to defend 10 million or 70 or whatever 70 million over 7 years for Sergei Bobrovsky right now? Like, he's literally the most inconsistent goaltender in the NHL. But and like,
certainly the Tanev contract is a much better contract.
Yeah, I mean, I do defend that too, but I also take him into circumstance. Like, I've always loved him as a player, and at the same time, do I take our cap situation into consideration? Yes. And that's Benning's problem. That's his issue that he's created. But I also don't like looking long term with Tanev. I don't know. Maybe he's turned a new leaf. He's going to be healthy. But I just don't think the last 2 or even 3 years of that contract are going to be worth it.
It's not.
Well, there's only 3 more after this
dead
year.
Money, and we hope that we could put him on LTIR.
After this year, both Myers and Tanev have 3 more years.
The thing is, Myers will play more hockey than Tanev, in my opinion. The styles they play. Tanev, I'm sorry, I just don't think he's going to age well.
So you think 2 years from now, in their final season of both their deals, Myers will be better money?
I mean,
hey, I think so.
I'll
take the stance. Yes.
Okay.
I'll say I think so because you know what? Especially because of especially because the way I've seen him play with Ulevi. If those two can figure and just be consistent and be that like second or third pairing, I don't even care. And just like, he just needs to calm down, and I'm just thinking he's starting to figure that out. So I'll take that. Yes.
Can I ask?
I think Tanev could be broken in half in a year. So
if we re-signed Tanev, but didn't sign Markstrom, do you think Tanev looks the same as he usually would this year on this team?
think he helps a lot. I do.
That's not what I asked.
Yeah, I honestly do probably. Yeah, you look at it. Here, I'll read you something, Colin.
Seriously,
Here,
you seriously think that?
let me read you something, Colin. I mean, Tanner's
Okay.
played in front of other goalies before. Okay,
And he didn't look as
I
good.
saved this. I saved this. Okay,
Markstrom. Okay.
okay. Even strength goals against. Quinn Hughes, after 16 games last year, 13. After 16 games this year, 26. Noah Hannafin, after 12 games last year, 13. After 12 games this year, 4. Those are the people that have been paired with Tanev. So Quinn Hughes, once Tanev left, goals against doubled 5-on-5. Noah Hannafin, goals against cut in a third with Tanev.
I just love to. That's fair.
That's
Stats are
huge. And yes, there's a Markstrom effect in both those situations. But
yeah.
there is definitely, I mean, something to this. This is
I'm
no.
not saying that Tanev is not what he is without Markstrom. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's no way he's as effective without Markstrom.
Yeah, no doubt. Markstrom's a phenomenal.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. That's all.
Let's move on though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I only have one more. Virtanen, that money should have gone elsewhere. That was a mistake. God, fuck, was that a mistake? Jesus, annoys me. Like, oh. So yeah. Overall, Benning, what's gonna get him fired is his raising signings. He gave too much money to certain guys, and he didn't handle. Another thing is he didn't, apparently. Did you notice yesterday that when Tanev was watching this might mean nothing, but when Tanev was watching the tribute, he didn't even pay attention to it. Like he didn't even seem like he gave a shit. And there was rumors going around that he was really pissed off with the situation about how Benning handled the whole thing. Like he was furious because Benning just put him to the side and said, "Oh, I'm going to try to trade for OEL instead. I'll talk to you later." Like he didn't even seem like he gave him no respect. And you know,
Yeah, he's
it's
probably
just
got that chip on his shoulder. There's
not
no doubt
acceptable.
about it. And that's like
Yeah.
you're definitely gonna have that, and you're gonna want to bring that, especially if you feel it. He's not gonna be like he's letting even think fuck you about your tribute. Like
Yeah.
you could have done something when it mattered, and he's gonna want to go out there and he's loved these 4 wins he's gonna get.
And what do you guys give him his tenure out of, let's say 10? What do you give him out of 10?
I was gonna
Considering now
say
in
a
the
C
future.
plus, so I don't know what that means out of 10. Maybe
Okay.
like a 6.5 right now.
No, that's not.
I don't know. Yeah, like I've always defended him, and
Yeah.
I'll always say that hindsight's 2020. And you know what? We're gonna probably look at the next GM and give him praise for the 2-3 moves he does with the
That's fair.
roster that Benning has made.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? That's the way sports works. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, Mr. Host over there.
If the average GM is a 5, I will give him a 4. And I think because I think the most important thing about a GM, number one, is cap management.
Yeah.
In today's NHL, it is by far and away the most important thing. And then because cap management is so important, the second most important thing is ELCs. So you need good drafting. So I think yes, he's good at the second most important thing, or he's at least average at it, but he's horrible at the most important thing. So I might even go down. I might go to a 3.5 on Benning.
The thing is, letting Lawrence Gilman walk was one of the biggest mistakes we made.
Mm-hmm.
He was a capologist. He's the reason that 2011 team was able to stick together the way it was. They almost won us a cup, for crying out loud. He let him. The thing that also bothers me about Benny is like, Judd. I don't mind Judd Brackett walking, but Manny Malhotra walking, like assistant GMs walking. It's like, come on, like.
Okay, I gotta get in here because totally kind of different topic, but I can't remember who said it. I think on one of the most recent podcast I was on, or maybe I wasn't on it. But one of you guys said that we need to bring in someone experienced as our next GM. It needs to be a guy with experience. And I mean I fully agree. You're not wrong. But who's the last GM experienced GM we had? It would be Brian Burke, because then we had Notice, who was an assistant GM, and then we had Gillis, who was an agent, and then we had an assistant GM brought in over from Boston in Benning. I don't think the ownership wants to buck up for an experienced GM. I think it's a problem.
What
Not
I'm
just that
hearing,
though, is where's a
yeah.
decent coach that we've hired too? Who's the last experienced coach? It's AV. I guess
Yeah.
Torts.
what I'm hearing, Austin, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I'm sorry. I think I defended or said that we should get an experienced coach, not GM. I
Okay.
actually think if we go with a GM, my pick would be Dale Hunter because he's an assistant in Toronto. He was the GM of the London Knights
I've heard his
for
name.
how long? He's a
Yeah.
former Canuck. Like it all makes sense.
Dale Hunter's a guy
So
because
it makes it's 100%. He's a home run GM, and then coaching. I just think that I don't know why his name is losing me right now, but Gerard Gallant is the pick for me.
Yeah.
And I've also, I don't know if it's true or not, but someone at the gym was telling me today that they heard that he was already doing his quarantine. So
no way.
I don't know if that's true.
Canada.
I
He
don't know
lives
if
in
that's true or
Canada.
not.
No,
Does
it's
he
true. He lives in
He
Canada.
lives in Canada. Okay.
Or at least he has been this year. So
Wait, so he is quarantined.
he's in Canada, so we'd be fine.
I have a feeling that as we're talking again, don't go, oh, it's been hockey, my boy said this. No, don't do that. I don't want to hear that crap.
No,
all I'm
do
saying,
that. Do that.
all I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised right now if freaking Aquilini was in negotiations with another GM. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't be shocked at all. That's totally possible. Seriously.
The only thing I think is I feel like this season's even maybe a little more tough to do negotiations, especially if you're looking at other teams to try and make those like a Dale Hunter. You're gonna have to talk to their GM and their presidents and go through that process and try and keep that under everything. So I don't know.
Hunter was with our organization before.
Pardon?
Dale Hunter was with our organization before. Is that what you said?
I'm pretty sure he played for us.
Oh,
Could
because
be wrong.
I heard a rumor that they want the next GM to have ties with the organization because they want them to know what they're dealing with in terms of like the
Double
fan
check,
bases.
but yeah, I thought so.
I heard Luongo's name, but it's like
Oh,
why?
maybe not.
Why the-
I'm dumb. He didn't.
I
My
heard
bad.
Luongo's name, but why would you?
Different Hunter.
Why would you do Luongo? He has no.
No,
experience.
I feel like
guy.
I feel like that's just ridiculous because
It's
Yeah.
the
he
media
didn't
trying
even
to.
expect to be named to the stupid
know.
Canada like Team the Team Canada. Like he
I
was just like,
know.
what?
That's how stupid our media has gotten. Like they just throw a name that
Yeah.
the average person knows. I swear to God, I don't even think they want to do the research into
No.
which
I know.
candidate, half decent candidates are available, who you would actually consider.
Yeah.
Like these radio guys, man, they drive me nuts because it's like, unless you're watching Hockey Night in Canada, you don't get a half decent list of candidates for any like management type role in sports in
Yeah.
general. I mean, these guys just don't know, and they don't take the 20 minutes
I
of
know.
research to do it.
I wonder if they'd ever even consider someone like Stan Smeal, but like his
Is
brother.
he a scout? Is he a scout?
Yeah, I think he's a scout. I don't
Yeah.
know where he would fit in or if he would be a management role or
Smeal.
coaching role because I just know his brother was a coach for the Chiefs for so long and he coached me as a kid. So
Yeah.
Colin
he got to
Pica.
play with Colin Pica.
Man, I think he's in the middle because whoever comes in, like when Benny got hired, he had nothing to work with. He had like this old agent core. Only prospect we had was Bull Horvath at the time, and just a bunch of crap. Like it was a dumpster fire. It was horrible. And at least the new guy who comes in, he has a good amount to work with. You know, he has a big task to sign Pedersen Hughes, but the foundation is there. Like it's there. Like it's not like it's already there. It's already in place. So it's not like people. It's not the worst GM ever. He's just made mistakes. It's costed him. That's all.
I want to push back on that a little bit though.
Eh.
In two ways. The first is, you know, the plan just changed at a whim so many times. It was first we're gonna do a quick retool and sign Erickson, and no, we're rebuilding, and then we got Pedersen, and all of a sudden, okay, you can see that he's good. So now let's push right away, and we got Hughes, and now let's sell off assets at the deadline and try to be good, and now we're back to being mediocre, and it's just like everything. It's just so back and forth. There's never a long-term approach, and that's a problem. And now this new GM that comes in is because of this. He's got a whole fucking situation with the cap, and it's going to take some serious circumventing. One thing I've been seeing, and people are starting to talk about it because they're starting to notice that Schmidt's not playing very well. They're starting to say, Schmidt, yes, he's a good defenseman, but he's not playing very well. So it sounds to me like what's probably going to happen is he's traded to Vancouver. Now Vancouver's going to ship him off to recoup their assets, and he's going to go have success on his next
That's
team.
the dumbest thing I've heard in my life.
I keep hearing that, and I hope they're right. Let's fucking trade the guy, clear up that problem.
Here we go. No, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've heard in my entire life. I'm trying not to swear so much on this podcast these days. That's the dumbest freaking thing I've heard in my life. No, for one, Schmidt, his value is a lot lower because of how he's playing on our team. Why the hell would you trade him?
What if his play never improves and we're buried under his contract?
It's gonna improve.
Just get rid of him. Let's just get out of the way under the. No, I don't want this, man.
No,
Colin, here's the problem. No. If he never improves, you are buried under $12.5 million between him and Myers for 4 years.
There's a lot of yapping over there, eh? No, it's okay. Quit. You gotta stop putting him with. Oh, I'm gonna kill you. You gotta stop putting him with Myers. Stop putting him in the same fucking category as Myers. Drive me nuts.
Been worse than Myers this year,
no,
dude. Myers' last game was probably his best game as a Canuck. Honestly, Myers played great last game.
Oh,
he did. Myers played great last game.
He's worse than Myers. Are you kidding?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch last game, so I can't say.
He's been worse than Myers this year.
Overall, he's not worse than Myers as a defenseman.
That's all I said. Is he's been worse than Myers this year.
Okay, I misinterpreted you.
And I don't know if I'd even go that far, honestly, just because the games I have seen and watching him, looking for him, I've still just noticed more little mistakes on Myers' end, and I'm the one who usually protects him. So overall, yes, it hasn't worked out nearly as good as it should. And it troubles me that it's taken him this long to figure it out. Maybe, but at the same time, maybe it is because we were trying him with so many different D partners and we're thinking he's going to figure it out in 1 or 2 games. So I don't know. I still think a season, just like I said, Myers, I think I had to give him a season before I could really judge what he would be. Because the second season going in, you've got to prove something. Like, I can understand it. I can give you a season or a bit if you don't understand it or figure it out. But
do you guys know who Schmidt played with in Vegas? I looked it up because I had to know.
I don't know.
Probably. Well, he's a right shot, right?
Well, he's a left shot, but he played on the right side.
He's better on the right, though, isn't he?
But no, sorry. He played on the left side in Vegas. That's
he's more effective as a righty.
He played. I don't know. He played on the left side in Vegas.
Okay.
And he certainly looks better on the left with us. But he played on the.
Who did he play with?
Shea Theodore. Played with Shea Theodore. And people always say you can't play him with Hughes. And I really think it'll be bad. But at this point, he was effective with an offensive defenseman. Maybe you got to try to play him and Hughes together. At least try it. I still think it's going to be horrible. And then shelter them. I would just shelter them in offensive minutes as much as possible. And maybe try that. Because it's the only success that I've seen him have. So maybe try it.
Okay, for one, the people saying to trade him, again, we're in a pandemic.
If I got an offer, if someone offered me a 7th, I would take it.
Oh, no, you didn't just say that.
I would take it.
You're off the podcast. No, dude. Oh.
Give me the cap space.
Oh,
I can do a lot with $6 million bucks. Put me in the GM role. Give me that cap space.
Are you purposely trying to become someone who says stuff to get a reaction out of people?
No, dude, he's fucking been horrible. Like, I'm so sick of people acting like he hasn't been that bad. Dude, he has been atrocious.
How many times?
It's like I'm not even watching the same hockey game, man. People don't even watch. Fucking, he's been so bad.
How many times have I told you that, yes, he's been bad, but he's not playing to his potential?
I don't care. I heard the same shit before. I've seen enough. Get him out of here.
I'm in a basement suite, so I can't yell, but I would fucking lose it right now. I'm doing if I could. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just holding it all in. No, I disagree. Trading Schmidt right now while his value is decreasing even more is stupid. In the pandemic, it's just
But
dumb.
If he doesn't improve, we are so fucked.
He's going to improve.
But if he doesn't,
he will. He will. Hey, look at me. He's going to. This isn't even a hot take. He will improve.
My brain is
Remember when
exploding.
Bo
I
was a third line
yeah.
center and was worse than center? And,
I hope you're right again,
remember when
man.
Gaudette was better than Horvat? Potential-wise?
I actually said Brandon Sutter would be more effective on the power play. I never
You
said
said
Gaudette. I
Gaudette
said
would be a better option than
I
than
said that Gaudette could be a better player than Bo Horvat,
Well,
but
you
now
did
we've
say
seen that
that.
both of them are just completely defensively
Remember how many
inept.
times I told you to
Dude,
be patient?
Colin, I gotta tell you, the last 10 games, Mr. Horvat has been fucking bad. And
Look at the
him and
team.
Schmidt
Look
keep
at the
being on
team.
the ice in the same time and
Look at the team.
horrible together.
Look at the team, and then get back to me. Look at.
He's
the
our
team.
fucking captain. This is such a stupid fucking take, Colin. Oh, because our team is bad, nobody could ever be good. No, the last 3 games, PD has been fucking awesome. Like, this is so stupid. Where do you think change comes from? How do you think a team gets better? No, no one could ever be good because the team is bad, so you're never gonna be better. Okay, where they're just all dog shit. Doesn't matter who you bring in. Bring in fucking McDavid. He can't play on this team. Team dog shit. No, I'm fucking sick of this. This is such a stupid. Can't criticize anyone because the fucking team's bad. Fucking done with it.
Well, I did what I wanted to do. I wanted to get him going. That was my goal the whole time, and it worked. There we go. That was actually pretty funny. That was pretty good. You got to put that in the Instagram. In the Instagram, you have to. But anyway,
yeah.
No, hey Dylan, I bet you right now, fucking Schmidt will be better, 100%.
All I can say is, at the end of the day, like you said, if worst case scenario he ends up playing with Hughes, I don't think that's a dumpster fire. So that's all I can like, and that's.
I thought that's why we traded for him.
I think that's the idea, and people understood that, but then they realized, oh, he should be our second best defenseman, so we should probably put him with someone who sucks, like every other defender we have in the lineup. And then that's not worked. So now I don't know why, like, Hughes isn't like stuck with anyone. It isn't like he has a Tanev to be right there. So I don't know why that hasn't made sense.
Yeah.
And shelter him. And stop sheltering Levy.
I agree.
And that's why
there's so many good plays.
Exactly, and they're both gonna play, 25 minutes, freaking him and Myers, and that's gonna be perfect. They're gonna figure it out and be the shutdown guys. Exactly what I said would make sense. And then you let Hughes and Schmidt just take over the offensive ability, like you're saying. Give them 18 minutes and just let them be in the offensive zone the whole time.
Face off.
Yeah, every power play, every offensive zone. Literally put them both out there. I don't even care.
Yeah.
like why we don't need four friggin' forwards out there.
Our power play is garbage anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We're just gonna pass it back and forth till freaking Bo Horvat opens up again. So
honestly, man, they need to I know, and Sean said this, and he's right. Yes, Bo Horvat's the captain, but at some point they have to try to find someone who can play bumper that isn't Besser. Put him on the power play, throw Besser in the slot, and maybe Bo has got to go to power play too. Someone needs to come in. They need to find someone. And I honestly try Hoglander because at least he's not a pussy.
Hoglander's great.
And you can't have a pussy there. That's the problem. The bumper is hard. And people who are soft don't succeed at it. He is definitely not soft. Give him a chance or find someone. Fuck, you're better off with fucking Beagle doing it or Mott doing it because at least they'll go in and dig the puck free. And oh my God, this board play recently by Bo has been unbelievably bad.
Yeah, I agree.
I want you guys to just every time the puck's Bo is the nearest man to the puck on the boards, watch. And just take a mental note every time, he lost that. He lost another, and then just run the tally. Just run a mental tally.
One thing with Bo is I don't get the inconsistency. It's frustrating because he's so capable of bringing and being a good player, but then you see these inconsistencies, and it's like, I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know why.
Well, there's definitely some coaching to it. I don't know how much of his. I've struggled with this for a long time, and recently I've wanted to think it's coaching. Before I always thought it was because he's a pussy, but there's a certain the way he he is in front of the net, the way he doesn't ever like challenge anyone to a fight when there's a dirty play, the way he has struggles on the boards. You wonder how much there's clearly some coaching there, especially with his board play. You can tell he's being told to do certain things that are just horrible, but
Yeah.
also you wonder how much of it's because he's just soft.
I agree. And in a stretch like this, I've not seen enough from him. I'm very disappointed. If Horvat's listening, I love him. Very disappointed in him over this season or over the first few games, he was extremely good. But the last, he's been atrocious.
One thing I gotta fucking pop off about. I've heard for like fucking 4 years that Bo Horvat is the new Trevor Linden. He's the Trevor Linden of this era. Every old person has told me that. My mom, my uncles, everybody. Oh, Bo Horvat's like the new Trevor Linden. It's such a stupid narrative. There is no way Trevor Linden acts this way over these 16 games or 17 games. Not a chance. He is the farthest thing. Trevor Linden was so goddamn clutch.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you guys. Would you take Bo or Max Domi right now?
Bo. Why? What do you mean? Why Max?
The only reason why I asked this is because in that draft we traded for the 9th overall pick to take Bo.
I know
Horvat.
Domi went after.
Yeah,
him.
Domi went 3 picks later, but they played on the same team, and Domi had like 20 more points than him in 3 more games. That's why I was bringing it up. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying this is why I was asking. Like I don't think, but once again, I don't like. At the end of the day, if we look back in a couple of years, we can see if
one thing
that
I'll
really
say
was
is,
the right pick. I don't know. Like there's
thing
lots
I'll
of those
say is,
options. Sorry, go ahead.
Right now, I'm not. You guys, I'm very fucking disappointed, and they got to get their heads out of their goddamn asses. This is unacceptable. It's JT Miller and Bo Horvat. 2 guys are supposed to be leaders. When those 2 guys aren't leaders, and who the hell else is going to be a leader? Like, what? I don't get how come the interviewers in the media. I'm not calling them out. I'm not doing that. But how come they're not asking them?
Not call them out.
What?
No, call them out.
Okay, why
ask the right questions?
Yeah.
None of the media asks the right questions, folks.
Okay, how come none of them are asking Bo Horvat? How come he's not leading this team right now? Ask him. You're the captain. What are you doing out there? Do something. Fight someone. Do something. Do anything. But how come they're not asking these questions? Are they too afraid?
Because it's a lot easier to point the finger and say Green and Benning, those freaking guys, you got to get them out of here. It's a lot easier to do that than to actually do hard work and look into this stuff and ask the questions that people want to hear.
I just don't understand why dudes aren't being asked. That's like, those are huge points. That's our captain right there. Like, and Miller, like, come on. Like, what is it? It's so stupid. Get me in that room. I'll ask. I don't care. I'll ask.
Yeah. Over the last 2 games, I've seen 2 guys step up. Petey. I think Petey's been great. I think he's been working hard. He's had some really bad luck, but he has been giving her. And like his line mates, Besser and Miller, have both been. Besser at least is trying hard, but unfortunately, Besser Miller's been horrible. But Besser's been trying, but Besser is struggling. And Petey has been carrying his line. And Alexander Edler 2 games ago, I mean, he came out just revved up, throwing hits.
He did.
And those 2 guys, but everyone else, you like you said, Horvat, Miller, they're supposed to be those guys. But then you hope, a guy like Myers or a guy like a young guy, maybe like Gaudette or a Beagle or one of these overpaid guys or a young guy says, no, fuck this. I'm a big part of this team. I'm coming in. I'm going to solve the problem. I'm going to be the solution, not a goddamn problem. Yep. I'm a Canuck. Let's get this job done, boys. No one other than those 2 even came close.
I agree. It's one thing I'll say is this team is in so much disarray right now, and it just drives me nuts how 2 of the leaders on our team look like they don't care. I'm not saying they don't care, but they look like they don't care. I'm so sick of it. Our media needs to ask these questions. Now's the time. You don't wait until things get better and then it's easier. You ask now. That's your job. Start doing it. Because we want answers as fans. I'm sick of this. I want answers. And I'm not raising my voice because there's people upstairs, but I want answers. Fuck. Horvat and Miller, both of them. don't expect Pedersen to do that stuff. He's a quiet leader. It's just not his way. I don't expect that. But Miller and Horvat are like the alphas in the room. Let's get fucking going here.
Yeah, I agree. I've been on the same page too. Like Miller, I've always defended and I've always loved that trade because of what he brings to the locker room and what the presence he brings. And when you're just gonna, I'm not saying he is, but they all kind of are looking like pouty babies, honestly.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah,
it's
totally.
like just go out there and play. That's why, like you said,
Fight
Petey
someone,
does it
dude.
by his play.
Dude,
He
go out there and
infuses
fight
that.
Kachuk. How
At
come no
least
one
Besser's scoring,
apart?
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
They
watch
just
Kachuk.
let Kachuk stand over the
I
goalie the other
know.
night.
I know. I saw that too. Like even Giordano, like Myers, like hit Tanev barely, and Giordano, like, I mean, I gave Giordano a hard time, but like at least he reacted to it. I guess. Like,
Let's see some fucking spirit.
let's see some like quit being a pussy. Like go out there and hit someone, fight someone. Like even if they don't fight back, just punch them. I don't know. Like.
You know who's someone who would do that?
Who?
Max Domi.
Oh yeah.
He also, I'm just looking at this right now. He also averages more points per game than Bo Horvat, and he's been on like what, 3 different teams, 2 different
Max
teams.
Domi's not even doing good for Columbus right now.
I know, but I'm not. It doesn't mean he wouldn't do well for us. Hey, don't we need a power forward in our top 6?
Max Domi's
Oh,
so
yeah.
inconsistent.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just playing
think
devil's
you're an
advocate
idiot,
here,
right?
and he's been on what, 2, 3 different
know.
teams since he's been drafted. He's got more points per game, and he's a powerhouse who goes out there and revs it up. Hey, maybe this is a flaw in Benning's take. This is another draft that he should have taken the actual player who had more points. I don't know. Maybe I'm turning over to a Domi fan.
He can't be much worse than Horvat defensively.
Hey, I don't know.
I haven't watched Max Domi. All I know is that he seems like more inconsistent than Horvat is. Honestly, he does. Even more inconsistent in his play.
You want to know how you tell if someone truly watches Canucks games? You go, how good is Horvat's defense? And most people will go, he's a great two-way forward. And that's how you know. You're like,
Yeah,
you don't watch the Canucks games.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Most of us just build a narrative about players, right? So.
One thing I'll say before we end this thing is I just want to get this out. I was wrong about Benning. I said Benning's gonna win the cup with the Canucks. I was wrong. I'll call my bullshit on that.
And I won't say anything until something happens, but
because you're perfect, right?
I'll die on my sword. I'll die on my own sword, and I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's my take. I'm gonna live with it. I'm just same thing too. Hey, I don't like.
I just want to see this.
I think Green will be gone too. But
do you think that they'll fire both of them at the same time?
I don't really know how to navigate this offseason right now. I don't really know what these owners are really thinking or how they're going about it, because like we want to say, I don't know. We want to say Benning is on the hot seat, but that job might be harder to fill considering the timing and everything with COVID. But coaching is the one that like we seem to think Green's still protected, but that's the one that seems to make the most sense in this transition. So I don't really know where their mind's at. So I don't know if like Walker said, they just make a decision this week, and if they just, you know what I think, wait till the time comes. But yeah,
you know what I think? I think that they make a decision because Canucks fans won't be able to withstand the patience of watching this without change. There's no way.
At the end of the day, though, why does that matter?
It does matter.
I'm just saying this as like, from a business standpoint, I do know what you mean. The Canucks fans will be mad, but is that going to rev up ticket sales? No,
but
is it going to make it worse?
That's why Gillis was fired, because the fans are chanting his name. They were going to do the same thing and hold out, and they fired him the next day because fans are chanting his name.
Well, it's a good thing the owners just listen to the fans.
Well, in
maybe I'll give him a call and we can make some draft picks. Hey, how about that? Hey, you guys, Aquilini's going to take my call because apparently they're listening to the other fans yelling for.
One thing, can I say one more thing before we head off?
Oh, you're ready to head off? I'm just kidding.
I got a couple things.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, I'm not ready to head off. I'm just saying. It was very painful watching yesterday's game because I saw a team that was actually playing really well and doing its best, and they just weren't good enough, and it's painful. Very painful. Yeah. It hurts.
That's a perfect transition to what I was going to say, because 2 games in a row we've been good, and both games we failed.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just saw a team completely give up yesterday. That's
Yep.
what I expect.
Yep.
I think we're done.
I agree.
Like I
I
think
agree.
that just killed us.
I agree. I
And
Looking
agree.
at
that's why,
at
and
them
that's why,
whole.
and that's why, unless there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about Jim Benning, that maybe he just is an asshole. I don't know. Like that's why I don't see that change making the difference in the lineup right now. Like to me, honestly, like I just don't see how
Yeah,
replacing
well,
your GM and having the same
oh
coach
no, well,
operating your day-to-day basis, like unless there's some sort of power crunch there. I don't know, like I said, there's stuff behind the scenes we don't understand, but like I don't see how that really changes their next game. Are they going to
it
go out there and play
doesn't.
harder?
The change would be made to appease the fan base. That's what it would do. In a market like Vancouver, the fans go
And that's
fucking
sad to me,
insane.
honestly, even as a fan.
I don't think it's.
Make
I
the
don't
right
know.
business decision.
That's why they hired
Throw a
Trevor Linden,
pair.
I
because
know, but
fans like.
dude,
That's why they hired Trevor Linden. The fans like the hometown guy. That's one of the reasons he was hired. He's a good face.
Wow, and that was a great hiring.
I'm not saying it was.
We
the
just
I'm just
endorsed his
saying.
gym some more so he can come take over mine, jerk.
the business, the right business decision was to already fire Travis. So fucking get her done. Like that should have happened. So if I just
Yeah.
don't understand how we've all seen it. I've been saying it for like a year. There's no god. There's one. That's not true. There's one goddamn strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
there's
know.
one, and it never changes. And any team could watch our film, design a plan, and know that we will never change it because we never change it. The only time we do is when the rare guy like JT Miller is smart enough to adjust it himself and read it. But there's like 3 guys on our team who can do that. Other than
I
that,
know.
you're fucking set.
I'm just so sick of the excuses. Oh, we lost because of Markstrom. Oh,
I
sick
gotta
of it.
say though, like they need like, and I guess it's president of hockey ops. They need a president of hockey
Yeah.
ops
Yeah, they do.
because they need a guy, and it needs to be totally independent. They need to go and they need to hire like a GM and tell the GM, do whatever you want. You're in full control. You pick the coach, you make the trades, you answer to no one. And then they need to go and they need to hire an hockey ops guy and say,
Yeah.
tell me if you think this guy's going to do something horrible, because they clearly can't tell. And the GM isn't going to go, hey boss, I fired this fucking idiot of a head coach. So you need a guy who can come
Yeah.
in and say that GM fired a horrible coach. Like
Yeah.
it needs to happen. So
I agree. I like that. I seriously agree with that. And if would you bring back Gillis for
no,
that?
no, that's not. So I think Gillis. I mean, that's not Gillis's strengths. Like Gillis's
Yeah.
strength is just like an overall management perspective. He was smart about hiring people and bringing
Yeah.
people in, but you want a guy in that position to be just like a hockey expert. Like he understands hockey. He understands how good the players are. He understands how a coach should be running practice, how a coach's system works. He needs to
Yeah.
be someone who's like way more like has way more expertise than clearly anyone they have hired now does.
Capologist is what they need. Capologist.
Yeah, but not for that position.
Oh no, I know. I'm just
No.
saying they need one in general. They don't have one. That's what I'm saying. They badly need one. Holy desperately.
But hey, I don't know. Here's my thing. If people, like you said, if you're going to think, would you bring back Gillis? My question would be, why wouldn't people consider or would have considered, now that that's off the table, bringing back Brian Burke?
Yeah, I would
Like
have.
Yeah,
I've always
I like
thought
Burke.
this. I've
I
always
like
thought
Burke.
this. Like, especially once we got rid of Linden, I was like, Burke makes sense. He knows the system. Maybe some fans might not like it, but you know what? He's gonna do what needs to be done. And look at another
And
organization took
He
over
understands
and did
hockey.
exactly that.
and
Yeah.
sometimes it's totally fair to question the owner and whether he actually does what's best for his team and knows what's to do what's best for his team. I'm not saying names, but you know what I'm talking about. You got to question
No.
it sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
And I don't.
he definitely needs some help.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say I don't want to go on like a tangent, but
Yeah.
in the NFL, the Eagles, they're touted as like one of the greatest, ownership, GM, coach
Mhm.
organizations ever. Like they had it figured out, especially their ownership. They're one of the best. And then they just fired their head coach who had brought them to the Super Bowl like 2-3 years ago. And then everyone kind of looked back and was like, maybe they don't have everything all strung up like we think. And then
Yeah.
they looked at their track record, and our last three head coaches brought us to the playoffs, and then we let them go after like a bad year. And they look at the track record of what these actions were. It's like, no, it's really not that strung together. And obviously, we've all had our questions about the Aquilinis and where their power is, and if they're put too much pressure on certain things. But at the end of the day, sometimes that may just be it. We may
Yeah.
just have to look at that track
You're
record and
right.
say, you know what? Maybe
I
it's
agree.
just the ownership. I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree. It doesn't. There's no reason it shouldn't be a question at this point. There's
100%.
absolutely zero reason. We've never won a cup. You have to question that. We came with that one game, but we didn't win it.
Yeah.
No.
I like okay, like I think they're good owners. I like that they
Yeah,
spend
they
the cap.
care. Yeah, they care for sure.
And they care, and that's a double-edged sword. And yes, they do meddle too much, but I think like most owners meddle because, dude, you're spending 80 million a year. Of course, you're fucking involved. Like
Yeah.
every
Oh, for
every
sure.
owner is.
Yeah.
Let
you
me
have
make
to
that
be.
abundantly clear.
Yeah.
But the difference is a really good business person, not just in hockey, but in anything, if they're starting a business with that they feel they're not an expert in, they do one of two things. They become an expert, which he doesn't have enough time to do because he's got a billion other businesses, or they hire an expert, and that guy he's just there to make sure. And that's what they need in the president of hockey ops. You need a guy who, like Burke. Burke's a great example of, okay, you know what the fuck you're doing, what you're talking about. You don't do anything except advise me. You are essentially the boss. Yes, I will discuss with you. I will, you can inform me, but I understand that you know more than me, and I need to take your opinion into account. That's some of the most successful people in the world are guys that do exactly that. They know when to hire and listen to the right people, and that is clearly what they need. I mean, there's clearly no one at the top holding Jim Benning accountable for bad
Yeah.
decisions
Yeah.
until they're really, really obviously bad. Even when a guy like me can sit here on a fucking podcast and say Travis Green is not very good at his job, and they still don't realize, right? So
Yeah.
it's a problem. That's a huge problem. I guarantee you, Trevor Linden, a lot earlier than me, was going, this Travis Green guy is not very good. Like, Trevor Linden would be way smarter about it than us. Anybody with any hockey knowledge probably is. But the point is, you need someone there, experienced, knowing what they're talking about, holding someone accountable, because there's nobody other than a media and fans. And we've already said the media is useless, and we know how fans are. I mean, Colin complains about them all the time. They're on Twitter or in his feed.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing too. Our realistically, Trevor Linden was supposed to be the face of the franchise, essentially, when it comes from a management standpoint, and that's why we always want to bring in a former player or someone that we can look at and be like, that's our guy, because our GM and our coach both are kind of off standish a bit. Like they both don't like come out guns a blazing wanting to like say their
Yeah.
point or be known in the room. They're both just kind of do their thing and they just make the decisions, and that's not saying that's a bad thing, but you need someone there. And maybe that's the new head coach, maybe that's the new head of hockey operations, maybe it's a new GM. I don't know, but it's something's got to change.
Do the Tampa Bay Lightning have a president of hockey operations?
Honestly, I don't know before, because I think
Oh.
Stevie Y was the GM and then the head of hockey operations. I'm not sure. I can look up quickly, but
Okay.
I don't know. They had Eiserman, who, I mean, look, you only need a head of hockey operations for the scenario where your GM
Yeah.
isn't doing a phenomenal job. I mean, Eiserman is a phenomenal general manager, so it's redundant, but you want that guy there for that scenario, right? But yeah, I mean, of course you're gonna get lucky sometimes and hire a great GM.
Yeah. I think Dale Hunter's has a good chance. That's what I'll say. I've heard his name float around on Twitter a lot lately. So
I don't know who like. Okay, so here's how I feel right now: is like, who do I think are great GMs in the league? Eiserman. I think Sakic's a phenomenal GM.
Sakic's
yeah.
really good. He's
These
amazing.
like those are the only two I can really name that I think are really, really
Boston,
good. Oh,
Sweeney, what's his name?
Don
Sweeney?
Sweeney.
Don
you know who
Sweeney?
I think is good that I think someone should poach because you know he's not getting paid anything. The fucking Ottawa GM, man. That guy can take no dollars and turn in a half decent roster and drafts like a motherfucker. Someone needs to pay that guy. We should pay that
Pierre
guy
Dorion?
and give him
Pierre
some
Dorion?
cap space.
Yeah. Pierre Dorion is the name.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what his name is, but he's awesome. Dude, he gets like half the budget of everyone else, and he
Yeah,
put
that's
together
true.
a team that made it to the conference finals, and then drafts fucking Shabbat like 16th overall.
He wasn't there for that conference finals. That wasn't his team. That was Murray.
Was it?
Yeah. This is
Okay.
a different era. I was like wondering. I kind of was wondering. Murray was a great GM. He was amazing. Murray.
Damn it, I thought it was one guy.
No. That's a different.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe
I
Dorian's
was
not that good.
confused.
His drafting's definitely good though, but maybe
Yeah.
he's not that good.
I was gonna say I'm a little confused there.
But he
I
can
don't-
draft. He can draft, that's for sure.
One guy is who's had a lot of success. Who's kind of at the end. There's Doug is from San Jose.
Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't know about it. I wouldn't. I'm just saying. He's had a lot of success. Maybe he just needs to change the scenery. But he's.
You want to talk about digging yourself holes?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that man. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been at that. He's done a good job for a long time. Besides the last 5 years, is what I'm saying.
See, I like a guy who manages the cap well, and he's not that
Yeah.
guy.
See, I don't know. Like, to me, like you said, there's GMs out there who just figure it out. I don't even know other way to say it. Just like Stevie Y, he
Yeah.
put them in a situation where all their players are locked up, and their farm still continues to
Yeah.
put out players that other teams poach year after year. And they're not even in a bad cap situation. I mean, I don't know what they're really at, but obviously with Kucherov out, they're a little bit helped. But obviously they're still playing, so
Yeah.
they're probably they could go win another one this year, I'm sure.
Same with Lou Lamoriello is a great GM too.
Yeah.
Armstrong's not bad.
Yeah, Lamoriello is a great
He got a
GM.
real short straw. Where was he in
Toronto?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
got
got
kicked right
fucked.
away.
No,
That
this
was
is what happened.
dumb.
This is what happened. This way, he didn't get
Yeah.
kicked off. He wasn't planning to stay there. He was just there to mentor Dubas. That's the only reason he was there. But he did good. No, that's the true
dumb.
thing.
But that was
That's-
They,
Yeah, I know.
they really shouldn't have let the babysitter go. They should have probably let
Honestly,
it. They probably should
yeah.
have paid for a couple more hours.
Lamoriello's a damn good GM. Like he knows what the
Yeah.
hell he's doing.
yeah, I would like to have him.
Oh, I would love to have him. He's the Hall of Famer easily.
One thing I will point out is that Tampa Bay, a lot of their people, like their director of hockey operations is Matthew Darsh, former player. A lot of their assistant coaches are former players. Jeff Halpern, Rob Zettler. They got a lot of just former players in their lineup, but otherwise there's nobody really that stands out.
Funny how those guys who played hockey at a really high level understand hockey at a really high level. Weird.
Here's the thing, though. Something I've noticed, and I don't know, just the players who weren't the best are usually the ones who understand the game the most, because they've had to use that mental knowledge of how do I put myself in a better position here, because my skill doesn't just make that happen.
Yeah, Burroughs is
And I
very
mean,
smart.
obviously McDavid is like the exception, and a few of these guys are where they just are everything. But that's the thing is I don't know why sometimes we look for the stars in certain players, but like,
I mean, I would agree with you in terms of coaching, but in terms of general managers, that seems to be the opposite is true with Yzerman and Sakic, two phenomenal players.
yeah, that's true.
It's funny. Remember when Sakic started his tenure with Colorado? Like he was on the verge of being fired a couple times because he was doing such a horrible. Like now look at him. But seriously, like he was horrible the first few years that he was there. He did a lot of shitty things, but now he's amazing. He's amazing. Like fuck, he's good. He just hit so many.
And you know
home
what
runs.
I hate? I hate when I see other teams poach players from around us.
What do
Like
you mean?
where is your local scouting? Not saying that like we should be seeing and getting guys like Cale Makar, but there's so many guys that I see that are so close to us that end up getting drafted before us or after us in situations where it's like, how did we not see that guy?
I know.
Dude,
this
all our
happens-
scouts are in Sweden.
I know that I was gonna say I know this happens so
That's
much
true.
in sports, and I hate it because it happens a lot in football. It happens a lot in college too. It's like,
Mhm.
why are you letting the guy who's next door to you go when you're exactly that? Putting everyone in Sweden to go try and find the next Sedin brothers.
I know. I agree with that completely. There's been so many homegrown players who we don't draft, like Brendan Gallagher. Like, how do you miss that? How do you miss that? Like, come on. And then Lucic too. Like, he used to be good, but you miss that too. And
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyways, I'm getting really hungry here. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
check
was gonna
us
say
out.
we got 3 minutes here.
That was the hockey hour. Follow us on Twitter, Hockey Hour CP. Colin will talk shit. Or on Insta at the Hockey Hour. That's Austin, I think, running that one.
Yeah.
He posts the best memes. Comment on Colin's post. Tell him he's a fucking idiot. Tell him
Please
I'm
do.
right and he's
I
wrong.
want you guys to tell me I'm stupid.
I don't give a fuck.
I do. I want you guys to chirp me and be in my inbox and tell me how fucking dumb I am. I love it.
Yeah.
Seriously. No. That was good. That was
was
good.
awesome.
That was a good break for me hosting for once, eh? Oh, not bad.
That was a good deep dive discussion.
We need more. We need different music though going forward. We do need a little bit of music, I think. Not trying to call you out. You're doing a great job with editing, but
All right, Colin. All right.
I'm not trying to tell you you're shit, but you're shit.
I mean,
No,
all right.
behind the scenes, Austin carries us. Let's be real.
100%.
Behind the scenes, he fucking carries us.
I try. I half-ass and I try. So. All right, boys.
I have to
Later.
pee.
Yeah, same.
Let's go.